Good morning. On this bowl of Question Crunch, Artetak is here to talk about their amazingly vibrant artwork, answering questions about their art history, their love of 90s cartoons, and their hypothetical demonic pet furby. So I've been a big fan of your work for a while now. I can't remember exactly how I discovered your Instagram, but one of my favorite things is recently one of my friends who she always wears pastel colors, and I said, there's an artist that you have to see. I gotta show you their work, and I think you're gonna love it. It's very I think you even say on your website that you're a fan of Lisa Frank, you're a child of
Oh,
the 90s, so bright
absolutely.
colors and gothic macabre stuff is just it's my jam. And so I sent it to my friend. My friend was like, "Oh, I've seen their work. I'm a fan of their work." And so I think they immediately followed. I think they didn't know that you had an Instagram because why wouldn't they know you have an? I know they might listen. No offense to my friend, but yes, go follow.
Thank you. That's awesome.
So I'm just really curious because like I was scrolling through your Instagram when I was making the questions for this interview. I was looking through the photos, and I
Mhm.
loved seeing your artwork evolve over the time. And I would love to know what is your art history.
Um, okay. So, I mean, I basically have been drawing since I was a kid. I mean, I always wanted to be some sort of artist. And then my art is always heavily influenced by like my environment, pop culture and stuff like that. And like I said, I was born in the 80s. So I grew up in the 90s, and so my art has always been super hyper like colorful and bright. Like Spice Girls were a huge influence on me. Like when I was a kid, I was into like boy bands like the Backstreet Boys and stuff. But then I discovered the Prodigy. Um, but like I kept the same and like Corn and Rob Zombie, and I kept the aesthetic of like Spice Girls bubblegum and just kept so that kind of started influencing like all of everything. It's like a mishmash. So I basically have been drawing since then. I mostly did pinups for a long time, and focused a lot on that. And then in my late 20s, um, it started sort of evolving more into being inspired by like kitschy culture of like the 50s. And then, everybody's nostalgic. I'm super nostalgic for the 90s. And so I just kept going back and pulling from 90s stuff. I don't know. It's like, I guess it's evolved and I haven't really like tracked it. But I mean, I feel like I'm all over the place with this, but
No, you're good. You're good. And I mean, it's really weird to say art history because if you don't have something rehearsed, it's really strange to look back at your whole thing and like, ah,
yeah.
damn it.
Yeah, it's like, I started to go to college for fashion design. I didn't even, dropped out. It's fine. Um, I started, kind of have been doing art online since I was, like, 13 or 14, if that makes any sense. I
Where
used to have a
online? I'm really
website
curious about
way
this.
back in the day
I'm really
where I
curious
would
where
post my
online
web.
because I started on Zanga. Zanga was where my art was
Oh,
posted.
I remember Zanga. There
Okay.
was, like, the Angel Fire, GeoCities. There was one called Girl Pages. But, I had a domain, and I would, do digital art with my mouse, which was not, very easy to do. But yeah, I guess, I started doing art more seriously, in my 30s, and I was bartending for a couple of years, and I was absolutely miserable because I could not work on my art, and I didn't realize that, I relied so heavily on doing art for my mental health. And I got fired from that job, which actually ended up being like a total life-saving thing, and decided I was going to go fully into art just full time. And I didn't know if it was going to work. It's like, I have a fallback plan. Um, and That was, I think, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I have been doing art full time ever since.
I was wondering because you said that you went to college for a bit for fashion,
Hmm.
and I was wondering because like one of my favorite things whenever I talk to people about drawing is there are some instances where you have to make something look sporadic, but you're planning it, so it has to look even, but just also random. And I've zoomed in on a lot of the eyes that you draw to see all the twinkles in them, and I'm like, how the hell does someone learn that? Where, what twinkles to add and where to add them?
I mean, the eyes are actually one of the easiest things to color because it literally is just you can just scribble in there.
Oh,
And they look good.
the scribbling is one thing. The scribbling is one thing. I get that, but but you put twinkles and stars and whatnot, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just
that's
phenomenal.
oh, thank you. I mean, that's like I said, still influenced by like, anime from the 90s. Everything was all sparkly and everybody's eyes were all glittery and like Sailor Moon was a huge influence and stuff like that. And yeah, they all had sparkly, cute eyes.
And every time I try to do the sparkles, I don't think it's anxiety, but it might be. Who knows?
A
I get
sparkle
the sparkles and I'm like,
anxiety.
ah, shit.
That's okay. It's fine. It's just got to ease into the sparkles.
And I did see a post on your Instagram saying that you didn't do commissions, and I loved it when you said, I mean, I don't love it that we're in a pandemic, but one of the things you said was, the pandemic is stressing me out. I don't do commissions because it stresses me out, and I'm like, yeah, I totally relate to that, because
Oh,
commissions, it's really tricky to try to get a customer to understand that you have to communicate with me,
yes.
and there's a lot of times where I'll get to like the final part of the art, and they're like, oh, can you change it? I'm like,
Oh, yeah, that's the it's the worst. And then I also went through a string of people that would commission me, and I would bust my ass on their piece, and I would send it to them or show it to them, and they just all ghosted me afterwards. Like they would receive their piece. I never got a thank you. This is great. It just was like, and they left, and I was like, I don't know if they like this or they hate it. Like I don't know, and that was making me really depressed. And um, a lot of people get really demanding and think, like, oh, well, you're working for me. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah. So it just, I have decided to step back from commissions for just the foreseeable future. And like, occasionally I'll have somebody reach out to me to try and get a commission done that has like a badass idea. And I was like, yeah, I'll totally do that. But for the most part, I just, it just, I've got too many mental health issues to want to take on that load of stress for the foreseeable future. That's basically it.
I really hope that the people who do have a good idea and they just bring it up to you and you're like, yeah, I'm down, let's do this. I really hope they just have faith in your work because I there's
Yeah.
some there's some characters that you bring up that you draw and I'm just like, this is amazing. This
Oh,
is
thank you.
and my mind and I'm gonna this might be the answer to the question. I don't know. The next question is what pop culture related artwork have you made that you think is the most obscure? That's the question. But hold on, I just want to mention the fact that I really love your cell drawing. Whenever I see you do
Oh, thanks.
anything in the movie, I don't think that a lot of people. I think a lot of people know about the movie, but they don't. Their brains aren't stuck there like
Right.
mine is.
Yeah, same. I could, oh my God, I can go on for hours about the director, Tarsem Singh. Um, what hands down, I think one of the most visual geniuses out there. The Cell is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's like a comfort movie. I'll just throw it on in the background and his movie The Fall also. Absolutely love that one. I've been wanting to do fan art from that, but I can't pick something that I feel like I can pull off accurately, so I have to keep working with that one. But if, when it comes to obscure stuff, I love creatures like movie monsters, and um, I will latch on to certain movie monsters that is there'll just be like a throwaway creature or something, or they'll be in like a one-off movie and that a couple of people saw. and I'll be like, "Oh, here's fan art from it," and like 5 people are in the back, like, "Yeah, we got fan art." But it's like the movie Annihilation, which I thought would have been a huge movie. A lot of people haven't seen, and the bear from it. Completely obsessed with that. My whole back tattoo is the bear from that movie. That one was obscure. The monster from The Ritual, which I thought that movie was also going to be way bigger than it is. A lot of people are like, "What the hell is this thing?"
That one doesn't make any sense to me because I feel like Netflix is really super convenient for a lot of people. So how have they not seen The Ritual?
I don't know. I feel like the cover art of it on Netflix is not very engaging. It
Okay, I believe
just
that.
looks like a hiking trip in the woods. You don't really expect it to be like this fantastic folk horror movie, I guess.
What's funny is a lot of times when I saw the monster from The Ritual in your collection, I saw it and I was like, is that the monster from Ritual? I don't know because a lot of people don't talk about that movie, and I'll
Oh
go
my
to the
god.
hashtags and I'm like, okay,
Oh
good.
yeah, I've got it tattooed on me. Like I'm like so I love movie monsters.
The one I am surprised about is the bear. Why? That's such a creepy scene. I don't, and you only see like the bear for like one moment.
Yeah, and I know so many facts about this fucking bear. The bear is actually called Homerton Bear. They named it. But and the
What?
reason why is apparently it's supposed to be the opposite of Paddington Bear. Because apparently I don't know anything about London. If I'm getting these facts wrong, I'm sorry. I am aggressively American. Um, apparently, Paddington Station in London is like the best rated train station, and then they said the worst rated train station was Homerton Station. So they named the bear after that. But I don't know, something about the fusion of the dead woman into the bear, and it's all it's saying is help me while it's mauling these people. It's just I was like, this is great. This is great.
Recently at a bar, this one person came up, like I forget how we got in the conversation because I was also drinking, but they had said, they're like, oh, do you know the movie Annihilation? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, there's this, I forget if it was an episode, but he was talking about Pokemon, that there was a story where the Pokemon was doing like the annihilation thing. And I'm like, I don't I don't believe you, but that's a terrifying thought. I
What? Is
don't
that
want
like
to.
the Pokemon Fusion Generator from like the early 2000s? Do you remember that website?
No,
Oh,
I was a 151, and that was it. My knowledge of Pokemon began and ended with like the TV show because I'm not really that much of a gamer. I think I played Pokemon Yellow, and we're way
ah.
beyond that.
Yeah. I don't even know how many there are now. I kind of lost count after a while.
But I don't want to see. I don't want Pokemon to scream at me with the voice of my dying my dying buddy.
You know what though? It would be really cool. Like, oh my god, that sucks so bad, but like that is awesome. And I'd be like taking selfies. Oh man. It'd be
um,
bad.
so you've listed a bunch of movies that you're right that a lot of people have not seen, or at least I think that they haven't seen. But
Yeah, which
anyone
it's
listening,
weird because I would I I don't know, it just seems like they would be more mainstream.
I agree, and I want more people to watch. Like you mentioned, a lot of really phenomenal movies.
Yeah,
Every
I'm
time, every
huge
time I
movie
talk to,
fan.
oh, go on.
Oh, I was just saying I'm a huge movie fan. That's like all I do is while I'm working is watch movies.
If anyone has not seen The Fall, you really should see The Fall because everyone who watches it, I've not heard anyone say anything negative about that film.
It's a masterpiece of a movie.
It is
Like I like
absolutely,
The Cell better personally because of the creepy aesthetics, but like The Fall just cannot be beat. It's probably the most beautiful movie of all time.
and that's one thing I really want to make it clear about these films is that even because like when you said that The Cell is your comfort movie, I was like,
Well, now
uh,
it's Hereditary.
oh, good, good. I'm glad, I'm glad that you've ditched the fad of horrifying movies being your comfort film. That's why Hereditary is your comfort film.
Yeah. I
Is
fell
it?
asleep to it last night even.
I mean, I kind of get it because it is like there's a lot of silence in that film, so it's pretty peaceful.
It is, yeah.
I kind of dig that.
I don't know. So my whole thing with movies is that like, they're this I've seen people make fun of people like me online where they're like, I honestly feel like movies are an art form, and I would love to be able to conceptualize like my creatures that I come up with in my head into a movie environment, and I can't do that because I'm just a regular artist. I'm not like an animatronic artist or whatever. So I get excited seeing what all these other artists in different mediums create. And so that's why I love movies, because it's just a bunch of artists coming together and making something awesome. And if it happens to have like special effects in it or rad monsters, bonus points for me.
And The Cell and The Fall are very visually stunning films, even if you may not like the plot, which I don't understand because I love those films. But
You're trash if you don't like the plot of it.
but I'm even just imagining the monster in the dream world, his horns when it comes down in like
Oh,
rolls.
his hair.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what Vincent D'Onofrio
yeah.
plays
The
the
Kingpin, yeah.
monster, which gives me complicated feelings because he's also like the cockroach guy from uh
Edgar,
yeah, is that Edgar?
yeah.
Is that his name? He's like the sugar water.
Well,
That
that's a
guy?
name. That's the name of the guy he kills because he's an insect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, from Men in Black. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, ooh, he's so sexy in the cell, and then he's next like his yeah, it was very confusing to me in the 90s.
My friend, she is a big fan of Law and Order. I think it's Law and Order. I'm pretty sure it's Law and Order. And so she was very familiar with Vincent D'Onofrio's the way he breathes. And so when when she was watching Daredevil, she heard heavy breathing and she's like, "Oh, here comes the Kingpin." And I'm like,
She was like, I know that breathing. That's my boy. It's my boy Vince.
so I'm glad that you're as like marinated by pop culture of the 90s as I am.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what else are we supposed to do in the 90s? Like play outside?
There's the sun is out there. I don't like the sun.
Gross.
And a lot of your posts. Okay, you know what? I want to mention this first. When I thought of this question of what is the most obscure, I thought that your most obscure because I think well because I recognized it. I immediately recognized it. I knew what cartoon it was, but I was very surprised to see it because I haven't seen Clown in an Iron Lung in ages.
The sad clown in an iron lung from Rocco's Modern Life.
Yeah, I have not seen that or thought about it in a long time. The moment I saw it, I was like, I know what this is from.
Yeah. It's I would love to have an actual like big velvet painting of that actual piece if I could. Yeah, Rocco's Modern Life was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. And that I never quite understood that whole thing of him being obsessed with this painting until I was an adult, and I was like, there are so many pieces in my house that are dumb as hell that I was also like frothing at the mouth for. So I get it now. So yeah.
And I think that that's a good sign for a cartoon because I feel like there are life experiences that as a kid you will not appreciate, and then as you get older and you become a weird adult where you're like, I need that
Yes.
painting, I need
Yes.
it bad.
Yes.
So my next question is, what is a weird Nickelodeon cartoon moment or quote that you often think about?
Okay, this was the one that I was like apprehensive if I could talk about. I mean, we all saw it. I will never forget. Like I was a huge fan of like Snick and like Saturday Night Nickelodeon and all the Nicktoons and stuff like that. Like huge fan of them. And Ren and Stimpy, I was a huge fan of. And I have like a very vivid memory of the Don't Whiz on the Electric Fence episode where he unzips his pants and you can see the beginning of his penis flop out. And I see it vividly in my head. And I think they have since edited it out, or the Mandela effect has happened. I don't know. I don't know. But I very distinctly remember Ren's penis.
Your
And
your
that
your
stuck
young
with me.
brain, your young brain filled in the blanks. If
I
if there
I
was
did. I still he went zip and something starts flopping and I was like, "Oh." Oh my goodness. That was really the first thing that came to mind when I read this question. I just was like, "Oh, this immediately." Like no I don't know
I
why.
I do think that this is the perfect answer for this question because your gut immediately knew what to say.
Yes, it did. And I am glad that it has stuck with me all these years.
um, it's funny that you bring up Rocco's Modern Life because the moment you mentioned that show, my head was filled with all of these scenes that stick with you. Because I'm thinking of saying I'm nauseous
Oh,
repeatedly,
nauseous. Nauseous.
or ask me what time it is. That's another thing that I think about a lot for Rocco's Modern Life.
Just- yeah, that one was one of my favorites. I was really big into Doug. Um and the Rugrats. But if you watch the Rugrats now, people should have been calling CPS on those parents because oh my gosh.
It's been
I
a
don't know
while
if
since
you
I've.
yeah, when was the last time you saw the Rugrats go to Paris?
It's been a long time. I don't remember the last time I've seen any
Yeah,
regular.
those children should be taken away from them.
letting them eat their Reptar bars, turning their tongues green. We
Oh
don't
my,
know
I
what's in
always
that.
wanted one. I did. I think they even came out with some a couple years ago, and I never, once again, never got it.
I feel like anytime there's like a novelty thing, I always want to get it, but
Oh yeah.
not having the money is a big.
Oh yeah, because they'll be like, oh, yeah, older millennials will love the shit out of this. They're all rolling in dough. Let's just like slap a huge price tag on this.
They're like, hey, remember Ecto Cooler? It's gone. You miss it. Here's one for
Oh
$200.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I bought an Ecto Cooler purse that was like $80 and I never use it. And it's just like this, it's just like an Ecto Cooler purse. I mean,
That's a pretty awesome purse. Why don't you use it? Or is it because it's too much?
no, no, no. I just don't use it for some reason. I should probably rotate it into my clothes. It's just like literally hanging on my wall.
I don't know how you don't use it. I don't know. I'm a big Ghostbuster fan. I would. I don't have purses, but I would fucking wear that one. I would use it everywhere.
Well, the brand that made it is Western Evil, so I'm sure they have plenty more if
Good
you
to
would
know.
like
I
to
might have
get
to get a purse.
one.
They'll be like, friends are like, oh, Jimmy, why are you wearing a purse? I'm like, long story. So I'll do
It's
it a
because I'm
podcast.
super badass, is why. Thank you.
So I'm gonna go back to your art piece, the cell, because one
Mhm,
of the things I think is really amazing about it is you use a lot of very bright colors, very vibrant colors. The
mhm,
cell is not. It's pretty colorful. It's pretty colorful when you compare it to other horror films,
mhm,
but it's so stunning and so amazing to look at. Because like a lot of times when I'm trying to pick colors that aren't really associated with the movie,
mhm,
it's really difficult because I'm just like, oh, but this stuff is gold. So what color am I going to choose that's not gold?
mhm,
And you use purple, and it's just really amazing to see how you pick a lot of cool colors, but there's so much vibrancy with them that I'm
mhm.
like, oh, this feels warm. And so my question is, how do you go about choosing the color palette for a piece?
I honestly am one of those artists that I don't really pick a color palette beforehand. I would love it if I was one of those because I follow some amazing artists that can do that and stick to it. I just kind of end up picking the same colors over and over for everything. And I have kind of personal rules that I use with my pieces. Like I almost never use red, and I always switch out red for pink. So I just kind of go from there and start with that and just kind of picking and choosing stuff like instead of black, I'll use like a purple or a blue to represent that. Um if there's a brown, I might switch the brown for pink, or I might just do like a pinkish brown. But I just try and keep my palettes kind of super feminine because that's kind of what I like. But the subject matter isn't always feminine. So I just kind of have to hope it works.
And I think the contrast between your art style and the content you draw is inspiring. I look at
Okay.
it thorough, one of my favorite ones is the guillotine that you did, where it had a little happy face at the top of the guillotine, and I was like, that is delightful.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like you don't have to stick to being spooky all the time, even if you like spooky and dark stuff. So just make it happy. I don't know. Just
Well, I even said this at we have a horror convention, a Halloween convention in Long Beach area that's
okay.
called Midsummer Scream, and
Oh, I've heard that's a good one.
it's my favorite. I love that show.
Yeah.
I love it because it's all about the fun of Halloween rather than just focusing on the horror.
Yes.
Because I feel like
Oh, that's
horror
great.
fans, everything has to be scary. Halloween fans, they're like, doesn't matter. There's no specific thing. Just have fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, I love it. And one thing I noticed that going to Midsummer Scream is that there is such a huge diversity of people because there's just an embrace of anything, any way you want to celebrate Halloween, celebrate it. And if it's a cute monster, go for it. We all love, like, there's a huge market of people who like monsters and they like cute things, and so you combine the two, and I've been sharing your Instagram all over the place. Is what I'm saying. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, if I've learned anything from doing what I do, it's that like spooky people love cute stuff.
And it's funny because like the stuff I've done where I've done spooky and cute, I'll have people like, oh, I prefer spooky spooky. I'm like, yeah.
And then you go, "Shut up," and you block them.
I I love your video response to the person when you did the pyramid head.
Oh, what? I don't even remember what I said.
Because someone criticized your artwork about it just being pink.
Oh, I don't even yeah, yeah, whatever. People get weird about that. Like, I'll get people leaving, like, barfing emojis on my on my piece. I did, the blades of like, the chaos blades from God of War, um, and posted them on Facebook, and some girl got, like, personally offended by it and was like, "I hate pink, and I this is awful." It's like, "Well, then, like, you don't have to look at it. Like I didn't make it for you." Like but yeah, some people get like really angry about pink and cute stuff. But oh well.
That's really strange. I feel like of all things to get upset about, it's pink.
Oh yeah, yeah. It used to excuse me, back in the first years that I was vending, um my setup was way more pink and colorful. It's still colorful now, but like I've switched it. Like I was using like lavender tablecloths and everything was over the top feminine. And the amount of men that would refuse to come up to my booth and would stand back when their girlfriends were there and they're like, I'm not going in there. And like I would hear them like call my booth like some horrible words. And I was just like, okay, and they would just get so upset by it and didn't want to be seen around it, so I don't know,
That
people are
is
weird.
that is some strange toxic masculinity over there.
Oh, yeah, but I switched out my tablecloths to black, and now they don't have a problem anymore, so maybe it was the tablecloths. They're
Yeah,
like,
that's a
"I cannot stand for lavender tablecloths, it's nasty."
purple. I can't deal with that. That's I'm too manly to be around tablecloths that don't.
"This tablecloth is the wrong shade of purple."
um, and another, because like it's strange that you're getting criticism over pink when I thought what the pieces that I really love, like I love all of your artwork, but what? Because like I saw the the Puppy Patrol ACAB
Oh,
one.
the Paw Patrol one.
Paw Patrol, right. Sorry, my bad. um, but then you also have what's his face? The cop burger from Ronald McDonald.
Oh, Officer Big Mac.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And so I like it. I like it because like I saw the Paw Patrol one. I was like, I don't have too much nostalgia with that dog. But then you got to the burger. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm in.
Yeah,
I
I
would
do a
think.
lot of anti-police art, and but I think it's funny to make them hilarious, but people get really upset about them.
Oh, okay. I kind of feel bad. I kind of feel better now because I thought that it would be weird that people get upset about pink and not that. They're
Oh,
like,
no, no, no. No, trust me. I've gotten death threats
what?
from doing my police stuff. I have people wishing like horrible things to happen to me. And be like, "Well, let's see who you call in this situation." And it's like it's just a piece of dumbass art. Like, so here's what happened when I did the Paw Patrol piece that I thought was really funny. Um, so I was wanting to do another anti-cop piece just because, I felt edgy. And so I was like, who's a cartoon character that's a cop? Oh, the dog from Paw Patrol, whatever. So I did that thinking it was going to be funny. Um, but I also knew that it was going to piss off a lot of people. And so Facebook had sent me a message. They're like, "Hi, do you want to start monetizing your Facebook page, your posts?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." So I turned on the monetization for the post, posted the Paw Patrol ACAB piece, and then didn't check the comments and turned off notifications for it and just let it go. And I saw it had so many comments, people arguing and all sorts of. I didn't read any of them. Um, and I ended up making like about $450 from the engagement of that post. And like this girl was like, "You're deleting comments." I was like, I would never delete comments on this post. I'm making money off of all of these people mad at me about Paw Patrol.
I love that so much because you knew it was gonna cause trouble, and you're like, I'm just gonna put this I'm gonna put this
Oh,
out there and walk away.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's uh there's a 90s actress. I'm not going to name drop her. Let me take a sip of my water real quick.
Yep.
Excuse me. There's a 90s sitcom actress that has my ACAB Barbie Fuck the Police t-shirt. And she has worn it several times in her posts. 'Cause she's very very outspoken and political. And every time she wears it, the comments are just full of just the worst stuff you could ever imagine. And someone will tag me in it, and then I'll get flooded with a bunch of people saying awful stuff. So it's like I'm well aware how people feel about anti-cop artwork and propaganda. It's
Damn,
not news to me.
I've been dropping the ball. Like I'm pretty political, but I haven't drawn any anti-cop thing. Now I gotta, if that's
You
what
got to do
happens.
it. It'll piss everybody off. Just turn on monetization before you do it. Don't read the comments.
um, I think it's really funny on like Instagram or social media where someone will post an opinion. Someone will say something mean about an artist, and I'll respond. I'll say, "How dare you?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm just sharing my opinion. We're free to have an opinion, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, but now my reply is an opinion as well. So if you're allowed to have an opinion, I'm allowed to have an
It's
opinion.
just an
Everyone."
opinion, bro. It's just an opinion. I can say your art sucks. I'm giving you criticism.
My favorite thing, and I think I mentioned this on podcast before. I'm not sure, but I love it when I love when people use acronyms to insult me because I'll make up an acronym and I'll make up what that acronym stands for, and I'll be like, that's weird to say."
That's smart. Yeah, like I never understand like slang terms or anything. So when somebody says something to me in slang, I have to Google it. So
Yeah.
maybe if I just start assuming what they're saying to me, instead. That's the key.
It's like trigger. I apologize if this is triggering, but someone commented KYS, and I had to Google KYS. You know what KYS is?
Yeah,
I didn't. I didn't when I. For listeners who don't know what KYS is kill yourself. And someone said that to me, and I was like, keep yogurt strawberry. I don't think I
Oh,
have the power to do that.
keep yogurt strawberry. That
Mhm.
is very important these days. Just
I
kidding, we're all
would
about the
not.
black cherry.
I'm not too passionate about my yogurt flavors, but I guess I'm now obligated to keep yogurt strawberry.
Yeah,
This
you have to.
this random person has given me that obligation, and I can't fail them. So someone asked you to draw a demonic Furby, a Furby demon, as it were, and it's stunning. You're what? I think it was like it's got multiple arms, little like things.
I've done a couple of demonic Furbies.
Oh, cool. All right, never mind. I
And
don't know how to
angelic
pick just
Furbies
one.
too.
What was that?
I also did a biblically accurate Furby. It was a Sarah Furby.
I think I've seen that one. I remember
Yeah.
that one. I want to hear it in the Furby voice. Be not afraid.
Oh yeah, the little bee not afraid.
If your Furby demon was your pet, what would you name them?
Oh, so I have an answer for this already, and I didn't even come up with it. So I was playing through a role-playing game with a group of friends over the pandemic. And I think my friend wrote it. I don't know if it was based on like Vampire the Masquerade, but he totally wrote most of it. But my character had a pet demonic Furby, and his name was Lord Furbacious.
Perfect.
And he hated my guts, but I loved that little guy. So if I had a pet demonic Furby, it would be Lord Furbacious.
That doesn't have like a last name to it. Is that Furbacious just one name or?
It was just one, one and done, Lord Furbacious.
Have you seen Mitchell versus Machines?
Yes, I loved that movie.
Okay, because you said that you explained the demon the when you did the impersonation of Furby as the angel or the Sarah Furby. It made me think of the giant Furby from Mitchell's
I love
versus.
that. I love that Furby so much. That whole scene, I was just like, yes, yes, yes. And of course, everybody else was like, that scene was disturbing and fucked up. And I'm like, no, I would be so thrilled if a giant Furby came out with a Furby army.
I absolutely adore the giant Furby yelling so passionately with such a deep voice.
I don't even remember what he said. He said something like hilarious that I was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever.
Well,
I
it's
don't
in
remember.
Furby language, but saying something like "May the blood of our some really some really evil."
Yeah, I
But
think that was why I liked it.
but like every other Furby, they do the passive Furby kind of conversation. I was like, but this one is yelling as passionate as possible.
You did a really good Furby impersonation. I'm actually very impressed right now.
Thank you. I practice nightly.
I figured, yeah, I can tell it's paying off.
Yeah, every night it's my ritual of before I go to bed.
You do
I
your
look in the mirror.
creams, you do your
Exactly.
creams, and then you practice your Furby speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I know people have said for years that it's a weird thing to do, but I think it's paid off in this podcast.
It has, yeah. Finally.
um, I do love. I brought up the ACAB. I also there's a bunch of other pieces that you do because you are politically I won't politically inspired. You're politically active in your artwork, and I think it's amazing.
Oh.
And I feel, and this is the question, I'm going to ask this because I want to know your answer to this, but I think it's true. Does the world accept criticism better when it's cute? Because go on.
Oh no, finish what you're gonna say.
Well, I'm gonna say yes. I think it is. I think it's true because I feel like if someone sees anything dark or spooky, like something really dark and spooky, they're already going to turn it off. but if
Mm,
they see some criticism and it's amusingly cute, like hilariously cute, where they're like, "That's pretty funny,"
mhm.
I think that it's more palpable. But I would like to know how you feel, despite even though you just said that you get comments and hate speech in your.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know, I don't think there's a yes or no answer to this one, because I think that, uh, I always think of, like, you are not immune to propaganda. You could absolutely see all of my art that is all the left-leaning, like my ACAB stuff, my Come Back with the Warrant, all of that. You could see that as propaganda. And some people, can see the humor in it because it's cute and funny. And then a lot of people don't. And a lot of people get really pissed off and offended. So I don't know. I feel like different people respond to different types of propaganda because I mean, I hate to bring up QAnon, but if you see some of the graphics from QAnon, it looks like, like a 14-year-old made it in like MS Paint. And they're like, oh, this is real. And then they'll like see some dumb shit that I've done and they're like, oh, this is some leftist garbage trash. So I mean, like, I don't know. It's like I don't think there's a yes or no answer to it. I think it just is individual for each person. Like everybody's different and how they respond to it.
I'm gonna correct myself and agree with you more because
Oh, you don't have to. You can.
no, I do because I feel like that it was a compelling argument. That you're right. I've seen QAnon and conservative type folks share a meme, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, look, it's true." And I'm like, "How do you know it's true?" And it's like, "Well, why would it be on the internet if it's not true?" And I'm just like, "Look at it. It doesn't look real. What? There's no citation. There's no.
I don't
I
know. I
need
feel like they're
certificates."
onto something with like the reptilians, though. So like, all
and
right, you got
and
some
you're
good
right. Like
points.
you've spent hours on a piece of artwork that's really stunning, and they're just like, meh, some, some liberal going crazy. I'm like, but look, the sparkles in the eyes. You can't just.
Yeah, you can't just write that off. Somebody spent a lot of time on those sparkles.
I think that the number of twinkles in your eyes makes you more valid in an argument. I think so.
It's completely an honest and true statement. Yes, I agree. Thank you.
I don't have to fact check shit if they've got 10 twinkles.
I don't know. I feel like stuff is easier to digest if it's funny, though. I think that's why like political cartoons kind of pop off, you
I'm gonna
know?
pat myself on the back because I do political cartoons, but
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I've also gotten pissed off by political cartoons. So I
I'm still gonna pat myself on the back for
Oh
because you do.
yeah, no, there's some great ones. Like I like the one I can't remember if it was I think it was a true one where they're like, the leftist idea of Disney World and it looked awesome because they're like, here's the gender affirming reaffirming Ferris wheel and it's like, "Oh, that sounds great." Like, "Yes." It's like, "No guns allowed." Yes. I would not like to get shot at Disney World. Thank you.
I'm a huge fan of not getting shot at Disney World.
Yeah, me too.
I also saw some meme where it was saying some millennials dream house. And I forget what it was, but there was like one room that was like everything else I agree with, and there was one room where I'm like, oh, can I trade that out for a charcuterie kitchen?
Ooh, a charcuterie room. Yes.
I don't remember what the room was, but I'm like, I'm not down for that.
Well, it's now the charcuterie room. We have decided to change it. We have made that decision.
And when I saw the memes of like, oh, charcuterie is just Lunchables for adults, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
adult Lunchables.
I'm not gonna argue that.
No, because it's absolutely true.
I'm a fan of Lunchables and charcuterie. Anytime that you have like little things I get to put
I
together to make a big
love
thing,
Lunchables. Do you still buy them? I still buy them.
I buy them whenever I want. I don't necessarily buy them often, but just because
They're
it
great.
never.
It's like a great snack in the
Yeah,
middle of the day. Just like go bust out a Lunchable. It is a charcuterie. And
it
the little
it
pizzas.
it never occurs to me to get one, but whenever I see one and I'm like, you know what, I want one, I'll get it. I don't care.
Yeah, you should. And then you get the little pizzas and you make them and then you slap the little bad boy in the microwave for 10 seconds. It's like a like luxury.
I know the warehouse I work at, they used to we moved to another building, but the previous building had a snack fridge
Mhm.
and they had Lunchables, and I'm like, fucking, I'm gonna buy the shit out of this.
Yes, absolutely.
It was good because a lot of times the snacks you had to heat for a long time, but Lunchables are ready to go
Yeah, they are
immediately.
ready to go out the package. You just delicious. Now I want Lunchables.
I'm probably gonna get one today because I it's now I
Yeah, I
have the
was gonna
craving.
go out to dinner, but now I think I'm just gonna eat Lunchables.
Yeah, I don't have to see people. I can have Lunchables and with Disney Plus, I can watch 90s cartoon, eat Lunchables. Good.
Oh my god, that's the perfect night.
I'm currently watching Gummy Bears on Disney Plus, so that's not too much of a joke.
The gummy bears are on Disney Plus?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
you know, I mean, the whole afternoon block is there
Oh my god, I had no idea.
because I recently finished watching a binge of Gargoyles.
Okay, I knew Gargoyles was on there, but I didn't
Okay,
know gummy bears. Like I stayed at Disney World maybe like a decade or so ago at one of their hotels, and our hotel room had gummy bears art all over
what?
the walls, and I was so excited.
But it was a decade ago, so it's probably changed now.
I don't know. It was in the it was either I think it was in the Pop Century Resort. But yeah, it was definitely they had gummy bears and they had something I think it was called the Wuzzles. I
I
don't
know
know if
about
you
the
remember
Wuzzles.
that one.
I'm not too familiar with what they are, but I do know the
I
name.
saw it and it unlocked some memory that has been deeply buried in my brain. Couldn't tell you anything about the show. There was a half bear, half bee.
I can tell you so much about the Gummy Bears, though. I've got that theme song on ready.
It is
Um,
stuck in my head. It has been stuck in my head since what, the 80s? Is that when it came out? Was it an
I
80s
actually
or
went
90s
to
show?
at Comic Con. I went to a panel and they explained making the '90s block. And it's Michael, right? Michael Eisner, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
And he came into a meeting and he's like, "Hey, I want to make a show about the Gummy Bears." And the writers are like, "The the candy?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like, "All right, I don't know what we're gonna do, but let's whatever."
They nailed it is what
They
happened.
nailed it.
And
That
now I
that
want
panel
that
was one of
like
the most
gummy
informative panels I've
juice.
ever. That panel was one of the most informative panels I've ever seen because the singer who did the song for Ducktales didn't want to put the woohoo because he said it was too childish.
Uh, excuse me?
Yeah,
Whatever.
all of the production team was like, "No, we need the woohoo," and he's like, "No, I think it's silly." I'm like, "It's a kids cartoon.
He's like, this is a very serious passion project of mine. There cannot be a single woohoo in my
I can't have
DuckTales.
woohoos in any of my work."
So he thought the woohoo was too childish for the DuckTales song.
Yeah, despite the song singing about
It's like,
anthropomorphic ducks
have
going
we
on
heard
adventures.
the rest of the song?
The danger lurks behind you, but woohoo? Nope.
Yeah, so would it just be like silence at that
Yeah,
point?
DuckTales, nothing.
Yeah, disappointment. Yeah.
So you do a lot of back to you. Uh, you do a lot of conventions, and I love the videos, the advertise because like there was one where you did kind of like an infomercial thing. It's like, are you tired of not blah 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 blah?
Yeah.
And I love exhibiting shows. Exhibiting shows are pretty fun. A lot of times you meet fans, you have good conversations, but every now and then, like there's like this one moment that really sticks in your mind.
Oh yeah.
What has been one of your favorite experiences exhibiting at a show?
Oh God. I don't know if I can pick just like one specific experience. I love, 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 love vending so much. I get to travel with I have a crew of my artist friends that we all travel together and we hang out. It's basically like a vacation. And then I get to sling my art to people and I get to meet the coolest people ever all over the place. And meeting people that like my art because they're on the same mental wavelength as me is amazing because it's like, I'm we're weird people. Like, I can tell you're also a weirdo. I see that in the nicest way possible. But it's like people like that converging in a big convention space because everybody all has the same like everything. It's just the raddest stuff. So I get to talk to um like fans from all over the place that just want to come up and be like, "Hey, I like your art. It inspires me." I get to meet other artists. So I mean, it's like kind of a broad answer, not like one specific moment, but I would say just like meeting everybody is it. And then I get in all of my social interaction for the month, and then like I go back into hiding into my cave where I don't like change clothes for like 3 days and
That's amusing because you just started with I think that we're all on the weird wavelength, and I related to everything you said, but most definitely I relate the most to you hitting your socializing quota,
and the
and then you
socialism quotas.
socialism quota. No, socializing with people. I'm like, okay, I'm good for the month. I can now
Right.
slink away into my cave and not
Yes.
worry about people for a long time.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It's the curse of being like I'm an extroverted introvert, I guess, is the easiest way to say it. Like I love talking to people and interacting with people, but oh man, if I just am alone in my room, that's great.
I've told people the same thing, that if I can be around crowds. I'm pretty good. I'm
Mhm,
funny. I can have conversations.
mhm.
But if you give me any chance to hide, I'm going in that corner.
I totally get yeah, same, same.
Oh, you don't need me for a week? Guess I'm not putting pants on. I'm not going
And
out.
oh yeah, and like that's great. And then when you do have to leave the house and you're like, no one's gonna see me in this outfit, and then you run into somebody and
It's been
you're
a while.
unwashed and
Fortunately, the pandemic has made it less likely that I run into people. Yes, a pandemic killed a lot of people, but at least I don't have to worry about being seen in public.
oh no. It's fine. Yeah, I don't have to see anybody.
Well, because like I've been to Disneyland once it opened up, but I wear a face mask, and I see a lot of my friends who go to Disneyland. And they're like, "Oh, you gotta take off the mask for a photo." I was like, "Nah, you know the bottom half of my head. You don't need to see it now."
Yeah, I like wearing the mask because like I can just make faces at people all day long and they can't tell.
Yep.
But unfortunately, I live in the South, and over here, it's like, what pandemic? So it's completely different from how it is over in California. Like I remember it was in the
Uh,
oh no. I remember it was still like kind of the height of the pandemic, and I was doing something in Florida, and we went down there and my partner and I were like, "What? Nobody here is wearing a mask. Nobody." The entire state of Florida, not a single mask to be seen. And oh, I was vending a convention, Spooky Empire, down there, and that was I accidentally started an internet fight because this lady that was across in a booth across from us, all of us we had to wear a mask at all times. And uh ooh, this one can actually loop into the last question about a good interaction you had, because this it's a bad interaction but also a good interaction happens later.
okay.
So we all have to wear masks,
I got in a
and this
fight, and it's a good experience.
the lady across from me didn't want to wear it, and they said that if we were eating we didn't have to wear it, so she sat there the whole time pretending she was chewing. So anytime like anybody worked, she was just like just pretending she's just chewing, and we watched her do it. And I posted a video or something from it on one of my pages, and uh somebody was like, oh wow, I'm glad they're doing a convention right now. And I was like, yeah, I just hate the woman across from me that didn't want to wear a mask, so she was pretending to chew. And ooh boy, I should have monetized that post because I got my ass handed to me by every person that has never wanted to wear a mask. At
Holy shit.
But at that same convention, I will say Corey Taylor was there from Slipknot. And he came by my booth and bought a bunch of my stuff. And if I got to thank him for positively contributing to my musical tastes in the 90s. And, I sold the painting to Corey Taylor, and he thought my Barbie ACAB piece was hilarious. He lied to me, though, because he told me he was going to put the ACAB Barbie sticker on his guitar, and he never did. Or maybe he did, it's just his home guitar.
How dare you lie to me unless
Corey Taylor! Really nice guy, though.
I almost I'm not gonna say almost, but one convention I went to, Nicolas Cage was walking straight to my table, and I asked my buddy who was sitting next to me, I was like, "Is that Nicolas Cage or is it a cosplayer of Nicolas Cage?" Because he looks too Nicolas Cage. He looks too much like Nicolas Cage to not. He shouldn't wear that in real life. Is all I'm saying. And he looks over. He's like, "No, that's really Nicolas Cage."
I would have screamed, I love Nicolas Cage.
I was just waiting. I'm like, come on, come to the table. Come on.
Come on. Did he come to your table?
He did not. He did not.
Oh, boo!
It was at Vegas. It was at Amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con, and he was not there for anything else except to just be a nerd at a convention. He didn't have a panel. He did not have anything to be there. He just is a nerd.
That's exactly what I want to hear about Nicolas Cage. I love that.
In your Instagram, there's a lot of Guillermo del Toro artwork, and I am a huge fan of Guillermo del Toro.
Me too.
It's ridiculous. Like, whenever I see his name associated with anything, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm fucking sold.
I'm the exact same way.
And this question I have combines your love of 90s stuff, Guillermo del Toro, and I've seen a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff throughout your Instagram. You have a backpack that was a shell, and I was like, you have a lot of cool merchandise that I would love to have. Like the
I
turtle.
actually have some original 90s cells from the Ninja Turtle cartoon. They sold them in Toys R Us in the 90s, and my mom bought them all.
That's pretty amazing. I think the only cell I have, like everyone else has cells, I have a cell of real Ghostbusters.
That's awesome, though. I have one from Doug.
That's even more awesome. Holy shit. If Guillermo del Toro did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, which turtles? Because Ron Perlman and Doug Jones would have to be in the film.
Yes.
And I was gonna say, who would they play? Because I think Ron Perlman would be an awesome Shredder, but.
I thought you were saying they had to be the turtles.
Yes, I want to be specific on them playing the turtles because I think he'd be a good Shredder, but I want to narrow it down.
Yeah, so I feel like it would be just like the honest, easy, like, duh answer. Like, obviously, Ron Perlman would be Raphael. I think he's got like the attitude to do that, and I hate to lump them into basically stereotypes, but I also think Doug Jones would be Donnie, because I don't know, it just seems like he's the smart, like he's good at being nerdy and smart, nerdy and smart, I guess.
He's good to be that little stack of candy.
Yeah, so I feel like that would just be the obvious answer for it. But like, dude, if I could get Ron Perlman as Shredder, oh my god.
Right?
The question though would be like, would it be animated? Would it be puppetry? How would he do it? I feel like Del Toro would kind of do all of it.
I think it would be all of it because I feel because like the 90s Turtles one, they had stunt folks doing the puppetry of the turtles, but they had a voice over for them. They had voice actors.
They're so good.
I feel like Guillermo del Toro could and would do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like he would do badass like suits on them. Oh my god.
I think because I feel like it would be very much like the 90s movies as far as like
practical effects.
Yeah.
Now we're both like, what would he do?
And because now I want to know who Michelangelo and Donatello would be playing.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that too, but like he kind of goes a little all over the place with his actors that he casts. So like, I don't know.
Well, because like you would have to do the main two. You'd have to do the main two, Ron Perlman, Doug Jones,
Yes,
and the
obviously.
other two. You're right that it goes all over the place. I'm like, who else would be the cliche thing for him?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna say Charlie Day.
I would love Charlie Day to be a Ninja Turtle.
Michelangelo or Donatello, which one you want?
Oh no, Donatello is gonna be
Oh,
uh
right. Doug Jones is Donatello.
Doug Jones.
So
I was
Michelangelo,
thinking it would be Mikey.
you'd be Mikey.
I guess. I
I
don't
think that'd be
know.
good. I think it'd be fine. Well, because when I brought up all the Guillermo del Toro artwork in your Instagram, one of them I thought was really funny, and this might also be this also might be the answer of who's the most obscure character that you pick. Um, Poppy, Papa, damn it, it's the grandpa from Sunny in Philadelphia.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh, Danny DeVito.
No, the Doyle. When he lifted up his hat and the bird flew out, Guillermo del Toro played that character.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
But you drew it.
Did I draw?
You have a drawing of it.
That's like I'm barely remembering this, but like that's hilarious. I don't even remember that.
When I saw the bearded guy with the bird on his head, I'm like, I love that character. And you're like, that sounds cool. I wish I could draw that.
I forgot I even drew that. I'll be honest with you. I smoke a lot of weed, and
Okay.
it was probably the result of that. And I probably just thought it was the funniest thing in the world,
It
and then
was.
completely forgot about it.
It was, and I think it's fantastic. And so we got Ron Perlman, Doug Jones, Charlie Day being Mikey. So we got to get a Leonardo. Are we going to do something completely random, or?
Let's do throwing a wild card there. Let's do Anya Taylor-Joy. I feel like they're casting her in everything these days. I think she could do it. I'd watch it. Spice it up.
She's got a hell of a lot of range. It's pretty impressive.
I know. I like her a lot. I think she could do it.
My friend saw the menu. My friend saw the menu, and she's like, I've never seen anything with that woman on it. I haven't seen anything else with her on it. She had not seen the chess show on Netflix, and I was like, ignore the chess show on Netflix. I love it, but she's been in a lot of movies. I refuse to believe that you haven't seen her in anything else.
Like The Witch and Last Night in Soho.
I brought up The Witch, and she's like, oh, she's in that? I'm like, yeah.
She's a baby in that one.
What words of advice would you give to someone who is trying to combine two genres, but they don't think it's going to be well received?
I mean, so you just kind of have to do it anyway. Like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, we're in a day of social media, like an age of social media where everything is like likes. But if you're not making art for yourself for the most part, it's going to come through in your art and it's not going to work out. So if you're trying to force it and you don't fully believe in it, then it's not going to work. So you just kind of have to just do it, put it out there, hope it sticks. If it doesn't, move on to the next thing. But I mean, that's basically it. Just don't be afraid to get crazy and wild with it. That's it.